here, welcome back to the Gear Obsession channel. In this episode, I want to talk about one of the things that I have totally left out of any of my survival or preparedness type videos that is very important, and I'm finally getting around to it, and that's communications. So stick with me, we'll be right back. So to have this at a weird angle, because I wanted you to see one of my radios right here. This is a 2-meter ham radio. Yeah, I'm a ham radio operator, and don't ask me what my call sign is because I'm not giving that out. I'm not giving that out on YouTube. I'm sorry. Anyway, so this is one method of communication during an emergency. If you're any ham radio out there knows, and for those of you who are not familiar with this, is if there were a major emergency, most ham radio operators get out there with their radios and help the community. This particular radio, even though it's only VHF and the 2-meter frequency, that particular band that ham radio operators use is between 144 and 148 megahertz, is line of sight. It's not that far, but I could communicate almost about 100 miles away if certain conditions exist. There are repeaters out there, basically towers, and you transmit up to them and they retransmit down, and they usually have a 50-mile-an-hour radius around them that you can sort of get at them. Sort of like cell phone towers with cellular phones, but this is technology that existed before. So anyway, if you're on one side of that repeater and someone is on the other side, you can talk 100 miles, usually just VHF. So it's pretty cool. And during emergencies, some of these towers may even be linked with other towers in other areas. They usually have battery backups and generators and things like that, so they can continue to function even with loss of power. So that's one of the things you might want to consider, is to look into becoming ham radio, take some exams. You got to find your local ham radio club, and they will steer you in the right direction. I don't want to make this a ham radio video. This is to talk about communications in general. Now I'm going to go ahead and cycle you up here a little bit, and I want to talk about cellular phones. Cellular phones is a very good form of communication during emergencies. However, you can't rely on cell towers to continue functioning. What goes hand in hand with the cell phone, and lately has become very important, is Twitter. It seems like Twitter has become the ideal solution for revolution. Egypt, basically, if it wasn't for Twitter, what happened in Egypt might not have happened, and it's a good way to communicate with a lot of folks who subscribe to you. Now, I want to talk about my Twitter account here when we're all done, so stick with me, and I'm going to give you my Twitter account and tell you how I intend to use this in conjunction with my YouTube channel. Here's all kinds of different communication gear that you may want to consider, or at least use to promote thought-provoking kind of thing here. So when an emergency comes down, you might have some sort of communications plan sort of in place. Now, I already did a review on this guy. This emergency radio, AM, FM, basically just AM, FM, and weather emergency. And it has a solar panel, it has a crank on it. It also has the ability to plug in a USB device to charge it like your cell phone. Really cool. Eaton, look for my video on that about a year ago. Here's another radio right here. Let me see if I can zoom in to some of these products. This is a very, very old Radio Shack radio, but it does a lot of shortwave, so if all your local communications is out, having a shortwave radio might be the only way that you can go ahead and find out what's going on. So it's good. You can find a shortwave radio that's relatively inexpensive at your local Radio Shack. Now, all these devices work on batteries, by the way, and the problem is that you know, how many batteries do you have, and you might want to make sure that you have a huge amount of batteries so you keep the things going for days and days and days. So stock up on them. But now, while things are good and you have power, I recommend you use a charger like this one. This is a pretty cool charger. Let me zoom in here. I want to show you this really quick. Let me see. You can see the screen on there. It shows you one is done here, and here's some others that are charging in the different banks. I'm going to open this up so you can see. You can see I have many different batteries. And when you look at these rechargeable batteries, read the number on them. So these say 2500, and some of them are only 2100 or 2200. So when you're looking at these rechargeables, try to find ones that say 2500. They have more power. So you just pop these in. You can put A, AAA, AA, C's, D's, all kinds. So it has a place for 9 volts in here, and you just put them in as directed with the picture, close it up, and it just starts charging them. Really cool. So with all these different things, it's good to have batteries. Save yourself some money in the long run. While things are good and you have power, it's great. Now, the most popular form of walkie-talkie kind of communications is these type of radios. These are the family band. I got a little paper here that I wanted to discuss a couple of things with you. Now, this is an FRS radio. FRS is Family Radio Service. It's just, you know, 7 frequencies that you can use. Now, most of these also will transmit on the GMRS frequencies. You know, the FCC says these are for these are for these. But the thing is that the GMRS frequencies require a license. And if you, usually when you buy these, they come with instructions that nobody reads, and they just sell these things. And believe it or not, if you have it on the wrong frequency, you're breaking the law, And if you read the instructions, it will clearly tell you that you are supposed to go to the FCC and apply for a license and get a call sign if you use certain frequencies on these family radios, these little walkie-talkies. So, just a note there. Now, if crap hits the fan, who cares? So, you know, I recommend getting ones that have rechargeable batteries in them. Now, this particular brand uses AAA batteries, rechargeable, and you put them in the little holder, and it charges. A little light comes on right there. You can see it. Let's zoom in. You can see it just charges. You just pop these in, and they charge. Now, here's an older set that I have, another Cobra brand, and what really sucks about these is it doesn't use regular AA batteries. It uses these proprietary battery. Not very good, because at least with these other ones, if the battery's not charged, you could throw some AAAs in there and be good to go. So you can see I got a lot of these family radios, and you might want to have more than just for your family, because if you end up with an emergency situation, you might want to, I don't know, if you like your neighbors, you can help them out and give them a radio so you could communicate between houses, things like that, help each other out. Now, here's another really neat FRS radio. It's made by, I forgot, Garmin. It's the Rhino 120. I'm going to go ahead and start it up. What's really unique about this is not only is it a radio, it's a GPS. I'll cycle to the map. You can see you've got a map will come up on there. Really cool. But what's really neat about these radios is, besides communicating back and forth with any other family radio, but if you communicate with another one of these, it transmits your position. So you can see where the other person is in relation to you every time you transmit. Really comes in handy. Me and my wife, we bought these so we could do geocaching. If you don't know what that is, Google geocache. It's a really cool little sport to get you outside to do some fun stuff with the family. So anyway, the other nice feature about this, it has a scramble feature. So if you don't want people listening to you on these rather open frequencies that most people use, you can scramble it so they can't understand what you're saying. So really neat. So if you want to go encrypted, you can. I have some other 2-meter radios. Look at this little tiny one by Radio Shack. Most of these, this is probably not on sale anymore. Radio Shack doesn't even make ham radios anymore. Here's another one. This is the classic HTX 202. This thing is a brick. I mean, and it weighs a lot, but it can put out some power. It's a really good, indestructible workhorse. So I have a couple more 2-meter radios. And that really wraps up most of my radios. I might have one or two. I think I got a CB or two. CB is kind of dead. I'll tell you, I don't hear too much. I hooked it up a couple of hours ago and not a soul. So I think truckers use it a lot, but I think most ordinary folks probably use these other radios. Now here's a neat thing. Let's say you're trying to just find people out there, where are they, or you suspect there's some transmission going on, you don't know. You could get a frequency counter, kind of cool. Go ahead and start up one of these radios, and what you could use this for is to determine what frequency something is transmitting on. There we go. So you can see what frequency something is if you're not sure. Kind of cool. So there's channel 3 on my thing here. Kind of neat. And last but not least, one thing that I really do recommend you get is a scanner. What you could do with the scanner is you can put in police and rescue and all kinds of different frequencies and just monitor. I think I have 2 of these. I have a very old one, and this is probably another old one. I haven't bought any new stuff other than these family radios recently. Oh, I almost forgot. Let's go back to the telephone really quick. I'm going to go ahead and bring you back over here. Sit you down. If you like listening to, police scanners and fire and ambulance and all kinds of different things around the country, including your own backyard, there are a lot of applications off of these smartphones that you can monitor. I'm going to go ahead and let's see what the top 100 scanner feeds are. Let it load up. Actually, let's hook up to my wireless first. I got, these iPhones are on AT&T. Oh, well, no, they're on Verizon now. But I only get one bar where I live. No surprise there. Let's go ahead and go back to the scanner app. And here's some of the top scanners. And I'm going to go ahead and put Chicago Police because they're probably one of the busiest police departments.
Subject is also positive. Can you notate the time on this as well?
So you can monitor police right there on your smartphone. Really cool. Really cool. Again, keeps you in touch in times of good and bad. Now, I told you that I was going to, at the very end, talk about Twitter. Now, what I have done is I created a Twitter account quite a while ago. I just never got around to doing what I wanted to do with it, and that was use it in conjunction with the Gear Obsession channel YouTube channel. And what you see here is a Twitter with a picture. Here's a picture of me and my account. And the Twitter is, or at least to follow me, is the @Gear Obsession. @Gear Obsession. Just like you're about to see in super magnifying there. There's my ugly mug. and that's where you want to go if you want to follow me. Now, why would you want to follow me? Well, YouTube is starting to have a bad reputation of not telling you when somebody you subscribe to posts a video, especially if you subscribe to a lot of folks. So I felt that this is a good way that I could keep you all in touch, where when I post a video, if you're subscribed to my feed there, I'll let you know that I posted a video and what the video is about. Real short thing right there, because YouTube is, the subscription thing is not working too good. Also, I noticed that some people will send you a video to watch. I think whenever they post it, they send it to all their subscribers. Video. To me, if all the people that I subscribe to did that, I'd have to unsubscribe to everybody because it would just flood me. So this is a way that I put it back in the hands of my viewers, my friends, my subscribers, where you could have a choice. Because I'm not going to be overbearing and send you all these things. I'm not saying that people who do that are bad or anything like that. I just want to just be as passive as possible here. And I figured Twitter, is a good option. And maybe somewhere down the line we could communicate some other ways utilizing it. But for now, it'll be whenever I post a video, which is usually Tuesdays and Fridays in the evening, I will throw something up on Twitter. Basically says video is up, and real short title and description of what it is. So I'll go ahead and provide I guess the link, but the @Gear Obsession in the notes down below, or the comments down below. No, show notes, whatever, info, description, notes down below, so you can see what it is if you can't understand the words coming out of my mouth, because I mumble a lot. So with that, I just wanted to promote some more thought on communications. This just basically skims the top. There's so many different ways to communicate. Radio, I touched on just the 2 meter, which is really all that I play with. I'm just a technician, licensed ham radio operator. But if you're general or advanced, you can talk on HF frequencies that you can talk to people around the world, which is really the ideal place you want to be. However, when you start talking with that, those type of the type of equipment to talk around the world tends to be a little bit larger. You need bigger antennas for the most part. So I like things that are mobile and small. Oh, good coffee. So anyway, I again appreciate friends and viewers, subscribers, for again stopping by the Gear Obsession channel. I really appreciate y'all. And make sure you have some sort of communications plan. Have a comm plan set up in the case of an emergency, or even just normal everyday kind of stuff. To find each other. Maybe while you're in Walmart and your AT&T phone only has one bar and you can't call one person to another and you lost your family. So with that, please have a great evening, and thanks for watching.